15 all. Osvaldo. That's Gabby's dad. You can see it, can't you?
Still only one service break. It's 2-5, but just the one service break. If Navratilova can get confident here, then this young lady must serve for the set. Well, backed off on that drop shot. It was a good one. It was a backspinner. Came back towards the net. That's why Sabatini had so much difficulty controlling her shot.
Martina holds on, and it is 3-5. Sabatini now will serve for the first set at 5-3.
Martina took some big chances on some serves in that last game, and they didn't work for her. But as we said, she must continue to go for her shots, to pressure Sabatini, to make the plan to try to win from the net.
A little bit of inexperience there, because Sabatini should have come in on the first one and then waited for this second one to go out the forehand, but does not get in far enough. A good control forehand, but you can see where Sabatini, she played that volley from around the service line area, not in close enough.
You got to keep in mind, I think, that unlike Martina Navratilova, who played last week on clay, a lot of the players have already started their clay court season. This is the first clay court tournament for Sabatini. I think that's got a lot to do with the 2-3 sitters she's had this week, and I think only now is she really starting to feel confident about this surface.
That's a fearsome shot.
Up to the challenge, isn't she? Oh. Yeah. Martina had something good to come in behind. She had a nice high forehand, and she smacked it. She did pretty well with it, and still Gabriela quickly comes up with something even better. She knows she's going to be attacking. She's ready for it.
2 points on the set.
Took a bounce on the hit the line on that return. It was a big first serve, and the return hit the line. That's why Sabatini backed off and played a slice. It just floated it long.
You can see Martina, as the point progresses, just thinking about coming into the net.
She was looking for a way, wasn't she? And very patient there. Played it well.
Mistake eventually from Sabatini, and this is a break point.
Has not been able to find a first serve in this particular game, serving for the set.
Martina questioned whether she should hit that ball. You could see it. She looked directly behind her as soon as she struck that one into the net. Have a look, and you can see that there's some indecision here. Should I hit it? Should I hit it? Well, she stretched for it and decided to play it, and then immediately thought to herself, whoa, maybe that was going to be out.
I don't think so. What about from your angle? It looked like it would drop in.
Would have been a tough one, but the tactics are right. You've got to keep doing that.
Good call, Phil. Deuce. And break point again.
Still no first serve.
Wide. Gee, what a point.
Remember what Martina said? We heard her say after yesterday's match that she said, I'm fitter than last year. I think I can run all day. But the point is she shouldn't want to run all day. She doesn't want to run all day today. Sure, she can do it, but if she's running, it means she's on the defensive. She's kicking the clay out of her shoes. She doesn't want a lot to develop under there. She wants to keep those shoes clean in this match.
For good traction. It's important. In fact, it's important to wear shoes that have good traction, rather than ones that are worn and slippery on clay, or grass for that matter.
Her first set point. She just made too many unforced errors, and it's going to kill you every time. She's made 12 so far. As I recall, most of them off the backhand side because it's floating someone. So it's that point again for Sabatini. Folks think it might have been good, wasn't close.
Sabatini on that last point, that set point, instead of going for the big first serve, went for a three-quarter pace first serve, got the first serve in, just try and stop Navratilova from attacking the second serve.
Deuce. Oh. break point again.
She gets right. But again, it was that big first serve cracked right down the middle, right down the tee from Sabatini. That put Martina immediately on the defensive.
She was pretty happy to see that one after missing so many in a row.
Deuce again.
Navratilova hates these court conditions right now. She always worries about visual acuity anyway, but now it's a bright sun, and you can see half the court is bathed in shadow, half in sunlight.
She's had 4 break points in the set so far, 3 of them in this game. She hasn't broken yet.
Hit the line.
You could see it skid.
It jumped, didn't it? Martina's having another look at that. She's saying, please. Please, this didn't just happen to me, did it? I've held back so many break points. And watch this. Watch the bounce. See that deadish bounce? Sabatini needed this one, didn't she? A desperation shot on the run. Yeah. Another set point for Gabriela.
Sabatini wins the first set by 6 games to 3. Martina will serve, and we come back to the second set.
From Sabatini's rackets. And Martina, she's trying so hard to serve well. You can see she's all the way up at 81%. That's unusually high for any tennis player, and yet it's not helping her out. The Sabatini is under 50. She's the one who's broken twice in that first set. Martina only broke Gabriela once.
How about that set point, though? What a great play. The first time she served and volleyed in the set. She had a few set points, and Navratilova attacked second serve, and finally she threw in a 3/4 pace serve and went in and knocked off the volley to win the set. Great strategy.
1 set to Sabatini. This is the second of 2 semi-final women's singles matches today. Steffi Graf is already in the final. She beat Sanchez.
And Sabatini seems up to the task of facing an opponent who's going to be up at the net against her all day, doesn't she? She seems very alert, more than willing to go for her passing shots. She's all over the serves. Look at her waiting for a forehand on the second serve. I said before how Martina doesn't like when the court is broken in half by shade and sunlight. She says it's much harder on a servant volleyer to play in these kind of conditions. She says because you lose, in trying to force your way into the net, you lose the ball in the light. It goes from the shade to the light, and it's hard. It's hard to attack it. It's hard to volley it. But again, Martina always worries about seeing the ball well. Right into the body. Good jammer. It's a good idea to take it into the body against someone like Sabatini, who's so strong when stretched wide. Here's another one, stretching Sabatini right down the middle. Here it is again, the big lefty spin.
Makes it very difficult on you if you're playing against Sabatini and you stay back, because instead of before those big topspin groundies you get up so high, you're on your heels most of the time, and Martina's not used to that.
Again, this is a nice big first serve. As it hits, it bounces up high. Sabatini doesn't care. She's got that, as I say, she's got that upper body strength. She's got the hands.
Break point. First game, second set. Sabatini has won the first set, and she has a break here in the first game of the second. We'll be back in a moment.
More lefty. So Martina kind of developed a kick serve and abandoned her good old lefty slice serve. And no kind of kick serve is going to bother someone as strong as Sabatini. For that matter, as strong as Steffi Graf.
She's looking into the sun at this point, too. Another double. That's the third now. 2 in this game.
Sun is in a very bad position for a lefty from that end, particularly Martina plays with glasses. Very glare, but this young lady's ready. 3 break points.
For a second break here in the second set.
Shadows, you can see the shadows. They are very troublesome this time of the afternoon.
Well, Martina Navratilova is in a lot of trouble. 2 breaks to serve for Sabatini, 3 games to love, and she won the first 6-3. We'll be back.
That ought to wake up the country club.
Only 2 players from a spectacular field remain. See who joins the elite list of winners at the Bausch & Lomb Championships. Live Sunday afternoon at 4 Eastern, only on ESPN. For the first time, a tournament honoring the game's greatest champions. Senior golf's strongest field ever is part of the tradition. Final round coverage is Sunday afternoon at 6 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Steffi Graf and Navratilova or Sabatini at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Join us for that one, please. That'll be live Sunday afternoon. 3 love for Sabatini serving. She has 1 set in hand.
Martina says, I'm just trying to keep the ball in play. It's very simple. Just put it in the box. Keep it in court. Sabatini very confident now. Osvaldo there, he's even that confident at the moment he hasn't got a cigarette in his mouth.
That's a great shot.
Sabatini closed pretty well. As a matter of fact, a little too well. Martina found the lob over the head.
her first double. Interesting that, you know, just when you think she's totally on a roll, she comes up with a double. 30-all chance for Martina.
Longest rally. There's Osvaldo. He's just lit up the cigarette there. It doesn't take him long, does it?
Remember, Fred, last year, Fred, in the unbelievable Sabatini Graf semifinal that went so long and finally won by his kid, he had run out of a couple of packs of cigarettes. He had to bum them from the guy next to him. He said to him, "Look, are you her father?" And the guy, and Mr. Sabatini said yes. He said, "Well, you need these more than I do."
I wish he wouldn't.
Well, Martina trying to change the pace of this match at the moment. She's down 2 breaks in the second set. The strategy now is to try and keep the ball in play for a few points and see if that works.
Another error from Navratilova. That's her 22nd, and she's only had 9 winners. Compare that with the Sabatini numbers. She's had 20 winners, Gabriela, and only 13 unforced errors. It's not often that a player can have more winners than errors on clay, but that is how cleanly Sabatini is playing this match.
The reason also those balls are flying off the Navratilova racket is the excessive topspin from Sabatini, and then Martina's trying to add topspin to that, which is not a natural shot.
4 games to love. And you're right, Mary. It's amazing that one can generate more winners than errors on clay, because this surface is not easy to hit winners on. By definition, it's a lot slower surface. First set to Sabatini, 6 games to 3 now. She's ahead with 2 serve breaks in the second set. Capital Sports, Bob Eriks, the promoters, and he's the chairman of the tournament, done an outstanding job here on Amelia Island, which is moments away from Jacksonville. You fly into Jacksonville, and heck, about 25 minutes later, you're right here on this beautiful island. Of course, it takes Fred just a little longer than that.
I don't like to get speeding tickets. That backhand is just something to watch, isn't it? She gets it, and then look at this.
cross-court forehand, that's the shot that somebody who is just in great form and very confident can hit.
Also, one of the difficult things for Martina that she's facing today when she comes to the net is that heavy topspin. Normally, with a rivalry over the years, she's played against Chris Evert, and Chris's passing shots don't have that heavy topspin, so they come through a little higher, so she's making waist-high volley. The topspin shots of Sabatini are catching her around the shoelaces all the time.
Yeah, it's frustrating for Martina. Yes, she's made unforced errors, but a couple of points here and there in this match could have had a very different complexion. She's on the heel.
Sabatini, sorry.
I don't know that I feel that way, Cliff. I don't think a couple of points is the story of this day. I think Sabatini has just been more solid in every single department. I thought Martina, she started off, well, she walked onto the court so bold looking, you know, kind of jaunty even, as she took that first game and stuff. And boy, from there, after Sabatini settled her nerves, she just took it away.
Again, that's that heavy topspin, and I don't know about you, Mary, but I just think that Martina's tactics at the moment, staying back. I know she's tried pretty much everything. That's just prolonging the agony, prolonging the inevitable, because eventually one of those balls is going to fly off that topspin.
You're right, and you know what? I also think, Fred, is that the errors Martina makes, most of the errors aren't come when she's forcing. It's when she is staying back. Sure. Oh, too bad. She needed that call. Sure, she's made errors when she's trying to force the issue, but those are the kind that you can make. But if she's making errors because she's not attacking, wow, those are much worse errors.
Great point.
So an error from the baseline where she is now, that's a bigger error to me than when she